Hello, my name is Antonio Pappano and I'm the music director of the Royal Opera House. And I'm doing a house to house. The Royal Opera House comes to your house. Or in this case, this is my house to your house. I want to share with you today my thoughts on one of the greatest scenes in all opera. It's a scene from the opera La Traviata, a very popular opera by Giuseppe Verdi, written in around 1852, premiered in 1853. Fantastic year for Verdi because he wrote Rigoletto and Trovatore all at the same time, together with La Traviata. Now this scene takes place in Act II. It's a confrontation between Father Germain and Violetta Valéry. Father Germain has made the trip all the way from Provence in the south of France to Paris to confront Violetta, to tell her that her affair with his son Alfredo is causing a stir and is going to ruin his family. It's a scandal. She's a courtesan and this is unheard of, and she must let him go immediately because there's an impending marriage. I'll explain that more as we go on. But he makes quite an entrance with this theme, which is at once stern but also a little bit rough, trying to somehow be grand. And this is quite strong in its character, obviously. But if we hear it with the double basses added, then it takes on a real menace, doesn't it? And listen to those notes. This one, this A flat, and then this bare F, very almost penetrating, and made even more so, and even more capturing Violetta's attention, is that the first note the baritone sings is a B natural against that F, which is a tritone, which is a very strange and grating interval. Madamigella Valérie. She says, yes, it's me. I am the father of Alfredo. You? Yes, of that heedless boy, sì dell'incauto, who runs to his ruin, che a ruina corre, ammaliato da voi, enchanted by you. She, with great dignity but very firmly, responds, and with this tenuto chord of E major, almost resolving that F that you heard before. I am a woman, donna son io, signore, ed in mia casa, and in my house. I will leave you now, more for you than for me. He's impressed by this dignity. He says, wow, and yet, but you're wrong. What do you want? With this chord, the diminished chord, which adds tension to the scene, he wants to give you all his belongings, all his worth. Dei suoi beni egli dono vuol farvi. He hasn't until now, and I would refuse anyway. But you live in such luxury. Pur tanto lusso. There's an air of irony there, sarcasm. And a tutti è mistero quest'atto, a voi non sia. Now she shows him a letter that shows actually they're not living in luxury, but they are in dire financial straits. He reacts, ciel che ti scopro. And he says, but you guys are in trouble. And now he gets to the crux of the matter, but it's the past. Ah, il passato, perché v'accusa. Giving her a chance. It's the past that is accusing you. She says, but it doesn't exist anymore. And with this feverish accompaniment, a tremolo, she says, now I love Alfredo. And God has cancelled this past with my repentance. And Dio lo cancellò col pentimento mio. Now he sets a little trap. He says, those are noble sentiments indeed. Nobili se sim vero. And she says, oh, those words sound so sweet. And it is to those feelings, he says, that I sensi, that I want you to make a sacrifice. Ah no, tacete, terribil cosa chiedereste certo. Terribil cosa chiedereste certo. You're going to ask me something terrible. I knew it. I was waiting. I was just too happy. Era felice troppo. He's got her. D'Alfredo il padre, la sorte, l'avvenir domanda or qui dei suoi due figli, di due figli. Sì, I've come here to protect the future of my 2 children. She says, 2 children, what do you mean? Yes. And over a very conventional accompaniment, listen, which would be very usual in Italian opera, he sings, he describes this young girl. She's pure like an angel. Pura siccome un angelo. God gave me a daughter. Figlia, se Alfredo nega riedere in seno alla famiglia. If Alfredo doesn't come back to the family, the beloved girl and her beloved were to be married. This situation would stop this bond. He goes up. So that rising of the phrase is to make the point and to raise in her guilt. Now, nuotate in Tripoli le rose della. With this phrase, de non mutate in Tripoli, don't ruin this, don't ruin the roses of young love. And it starts quite sternly and pleadingly. The roses of... And he repeats the words, driving them home. Again, my prayers, please, don't resist. Your heart does not want to resist me, please. Now, in an extraordinarily, I would say, modern turn of events, slowly, she expresses that she realizes what he means, and she says, well, I need to go away, don't I, for just a little bit, while the situation blows over, the marriage happens. The tempo starts. Gets faster. And he says, no, that's not what I want you to do. Non è ciò che cielo, heavens. What do you want? I've already given so much. You want me to give him up forever? It's necessary. No, mai, she says. Never. You don't know how much love, how much it burns in my heart. Non sapete quale affetto vive immenso, marda in petto. Gli amici, i parenti, io non racconto tra viventi. She says that she has no one in her life, no family, no loved ones. Only Alfredo has sworn to be with me forever. These very, very strong outbursts from the orchestra in forte, she almost speaks. Non sapete che colpita d'altro morbo è la mia vita. And here she reveals that she's very sick. And she looks for sympathy. Che già presso fine vedo mi separi dal freddo. That I separate myself from Alfredo. That's impossible. I could never. She screamed. I would prefer to die. Preferirò morire. End of argument. But no, he says, I know how difficult this sacrifice will be for you. Silence. But listen to me carefully. There's a very long pause. And now he, almost speaking, says, you are beautiful. Yes, you are. And young. But with time, col tempo. So if I sing that for you in Italian, bella voi siete e giovine. Now no accompaniment. Col tempo, with time. And she says, ah no, non dite. I understand, ma impossibile. Lui solo, him alone, I want to love. Amor voglio. He becomes absolutely indignant and unforgiving by saying man is fickle. She says, good God. So he's saying to her that you're going to get old. And man is fickle and extremely manipulative. And he becomes even more so. And it says, it's written here, con semplicità, with simplicity. One day, the carnal desires will go and time will go by, and then boredom will set in. But he sings this to a melody which is quite refined with those little curly cues, and interrupt as if he's dosing out medicine to her. What will then be? Then he sings a long note. Think on it, pensate. You won't have love anymore because your relationship hasn't been blessed by God. With this funny dissonance, you hear it? All to cause pain. She says, yes, you're right. And slowly, now he goes into the major. These seductive dreams will disperse. Be the angel, the consoling angel. Consolatore. Now he insists. Violetta de pensataci, il tempo ancora, e Dio che ispira, o giovine, e Dio che becomes a little overbearing here. You would think that is the end of the argument, but she comes back with what I think is one of the great phrases, and there are more to come, but this is, she goes back into the minor. Says, look how my days, look at this miserable wretch and how her days have been lost. And there's no chance that there's no chance for hope in the future. And the phrase goes like this. In the orchestra you'll hear this. But the melody is extraordinary. If the singer does it right, that phrase just makes you cry. If God is beneficent, man will always be implacable. And with very strong accent, she repeats those words. L'uomo implacabile per lei sarà. He repeats, you're the consoling angel, but listen how dark the music has become. Again, another silence. The use of silence in this scene is absolutely fantastic. She sings, she gives in basically, and she says, tell the young girl, so beautiful and pure, how she places that word, that there's been a victim of misfortune who is left with only one ray of happiness, that she sacrificed herself and that she would die. And with the simplest accompaniment, again, listen, just what could be more simple than this? Verdi weaves a melody. Here's the word pura. Si bella e that there was a victim of misfortune. Verdi uses those little dots over the notes. She's almost crying, and then a big accent. And then I sacrifice again the dots over the notes for emphasis, and then pianissimo, and we get that dissonance as he did before with her, but this time no orchestra. And she bursts into tears. He says, oh yes, go ahead and cry. Piangi, 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 supremo. I can see the effort then. Ecco il sacrificio. That important word, the sacrifice. Listen to the... Still there's bitterness everywhere. Sento nell'anima, trying to offer her reassurance. Bring this scene back into the major now. And then they come back to the original melody, her singing her theme, and he When sustained like this in performance, with both singers singing beautifully softly, it's just incredible. And this develops and becomes this. Piangi, says again, piangi, piangi. I'll tell her about my sacrifice. They end up singing alone. We call it cadenza, where they're left alone without orchestra. So that finishes, and then she says, okay, what do I do now? And she's empty. Tell him that you don't love him. Non crederà, he won't believe me. Partite, then leave. He will follow me. So, allora. That's so. I've never really known what it actually means. It could mean a lot of things. She has to do something extreme, but she says, oh, please embrace me like a daughter, o figlia qual figlia bracciate. That would make me strong. Now the music changes abruptly here. Tra breve vifia reso, flitto ogni dire. She says he's going to find out that about all this, and he's going to be hurting, and you need to be there for him. She asks for reassurance. I'm going to die, she says. What can I do? He says, what can I do? She says, I'm going to die. And she says it in the most intense way. Morrò, morrò la mia memoria, figlia che maledica, se le mie pene orribile, mi sia almeno dica. Well, what is she on about here? Well, I believe that she's made the decision to go back to her old life. It's the only way. That's the only way she can answer that question. So, and this will create incredible hurt to Alfredo. But she doesn't want him to curse her. Yes, I will die, but I don't want to be cursed. But tell him about my pain. Le mie pene orribili, my horrible pain, orribili, vi sia calmegni dica. And he joins in the same spirit. Yes, I will. I will tell him, but you must live. You mustn't die. And he offers hope to her. And she knows, conosca il sacrificio, consumai dono, that he knows the sacrifice that I made for him. Sospiro del mio cor, oh, you will be rewarded for this sacrifice. He says, sarete fer allor, something stodgily victorious in him there. And she is so full of feeling. But little by little, and you also notice that somehow, though he's obviously won, he sees her suffering in front of him. And of course it has an effect on him. Of course it does. So they sing in duet. She repeats the words over and over again. I want him to know my sacrifice. I didn't play that right. Her face has become broken up. Ta da 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 ta ta ta, almost breathless. She gains strength. Like a last hurrah. And that ends basically the duet. She says, I hear somebody coming. You must leave. Please leave. Big pause. Non ci vedremo più forse. We will probably never see each other again. And both in the same tone, be happy. Addio. It's really spoken. No more singing here. Addio. The orchestra's little pizzicatos. Long pause. And again she says those same words, that he knows the sacrifice. Yes. That I made because I loved him. See, he says. Addio, addio, they say, goodbye. Be happy. Quite strong there. Last confrontation. Addio. The duet ends quite unsatisfactorily, certainly for Violetta. And of course he has his victory, and therefore the music is full of a cold elation, if you like. Yeah, that's a very rough idea of this scene. Go on YouTube and watch it done properly. I just love this piece so much. And for the conductor, it's unusual because there's not much there, as I showed you in those simple accompaniments. But to create the atmosphere around the singers is one of the great challenges here. And I haven't conducted the piece for a long time, so I miss it. That's why I thought I'd share this with you, because it's driving me crazy. Everybody else gets to do it. I want to do it. Anyway, thanks for listening. See you again.